The first snowfall in Boston always reminded me of childhood. Standing by my office window on the 32nd floor, watching white flakes dance against steel and glass, I couldn't help but smile. Growing up, snow meant hot chocolate, sledding with my siblings, and Dad's famous Swiss hot chocolate recipe, a family tradition from his homeland. I'm Sarah Mitchell, 34, Chief Financial Officer at one of Boston's leading tech firms. My story isn't about success, though. It's about family, betrayal, and learning that sometimes love isn't enough. Sometimes you need to stand up for yourself. The message that started it all pinged on my phone during a budget meeting. "Hey sis, can you look over these resort options for the family reunion? Dad wants something special for his 60th. It was from my younger sister, Emma. I quickly scrolled through the links she sent. All luxury chalets in Switzerland. Dad had always talked about taking us back to his hometown in the Alps, showing us where he grew up before immigrating to America. Sure, I replied. Let me check them out after work. That evening, I spent hours researching the perfect venue. I finally found it. A stunning chalet in Zermatt with views of the Matterhorn, a private chef, an indoor pool, and enough rooms for our entire extended family. The price tag, $50,000 for 2 weeks. It was steep, but this was for Dad. He'd sacrificed everything to give us a better life in America. I called Emma immediately. I found it. It's perfect. Great. She sounded distracted. Just book it. You can handle the payment, right? You know how Mom gets about large expenses. I hesitated. I'd always been the family banker. Good job. No kids, no mortgage. It started small. Helping with bills, covering emergency expenses. Somehow, it became expected. I'll take care of it, I said finally. Just make sure everyone confirms their dates before I book. The next few weeks were a blur of planning. I coordinated with the chalet management, arranged airport transfers, and even hired a local photographer to document everything. Dad was going to love it. The family group chat buzzed constantly with excitement. Mom, can't wait to see the Alps. Emma, shopping for snow boots. My brother Tom, teaching the kids to ski. Cousin Lisa, best family reunion ever. I smiled at their enthusiasm while making the final payment. $50,000 from my savings. A big chunk, but seeing Dad's face would be worth it. Then things got weird. First, the family chat went quiet. Suddenly, everyone was busy when I tried to discuss travel arrangements. Emma stopped answering my calls about booking flights together. Oh, I might have to go earlier, she'd text. Work stuff. Don't worry about me. Mom became evasive about what to pack. Just bring whatever, honey. You always overthink things. Even Dad, who usually called me every Sunday, became distant. Very busy right now. Schatzley, his Swiss German endearment for me? We'll talk soon. I brushed it off as pre-trip stress until that Instagram post. It was a casual scroll through my feed during lunch. Then I saw it, my cousin Lisa's story. Day 3 in Switzerland. Family time is the best time. #family reunion, #Zermatt, #blessed. The timestamp was current. The location, our chalet. My chalet. The one I'd paid for next month. My hands shook as I clicked through more stories. There they were, my entire family. Mom and Dad by the fireplace. Emma and Tom teaching their kids to ski. Aunts, uncles, cousins, everyone except me. I called Emma, straight to voicemail. Tom? No answer. Mom's phone was out of service. Dad's went straight to Swiss voicemail. With trembling fingers, I logged into my banking app. The chalet payment had cleared weeks ago. Then I noticed something. The dates had been changed. Someone had contacted the management and modified the reservation, using my name, using my email. I called the chalet. The manager answered in accented English. "Ah, yes, Ms. Mitchell. Your family is having a wonderful time. They arrived 3 days ago." They. What? The booking was for next month. No. Your sister. She changed the dates last week. Said you approved. She had all booking details, confirmation numbers. Very organized. My head spun. Emma had used my information to change the dates. They planned this. All of them. The silence, the evasion, the sudden busy schedules. They deliberately excluded me from my own gift to them. I hung up and opened our family chat. The last message I'd sent was still there. Final payment made. Can't wait to see everyone next month. No one had responded. I scrolled up further and found an older chat I hadn't been invited to. Someone had accidentally forwarded it to me weeks ago. I'd ignored it then, but now. Emma. Sarah's always so controlling about these things. Always has to be in charge. Tom. Yeah, but we needed her card lol. Mom. She won't even notice the date change until we're back. She's always working anyway. Dad? I don't feel right about this. Emma? Dad, she ruins every family gathering with her perfectionism. Remember last Christmas? This way we can actually relax. My vision blurred with tears. Every gathering I ruined? Last Christmas, I'd cooked for 20 people, bought all the gifts, decorated the house, while Emma showed up 3 hours late with store-bought cookies. I was always the responsible one, the reliable one, the one they called at 2 a.m. when they needed money, help, or advice. When did that become a bad thing? A new post popped up on Instagram. Emma, raising a champagne glass in the chalet's hot tub. Best family vacation ever. No stress, no drama, just love. No stress, no drama, no me. I picked up my phone again and called the chalet management company's corporate office in Geneva. This is Sarah Mitchell. I need to discuss my reservation. Of course, Ms. Mitchell. How can we help? I'm the cardholder for the Zermatt Chalet booking. I need to verify something. What name is on the payment? One moment. Yes, Sarah Mitchell. The full amount was charged to your card. I took a deep breath. And who is currently staying at the property? Let me check. 12 adults, 6 children. The booking was modified last week to start 3 days ago. Was I consulted about this change? According to our records, the change was requested by Emma Mitchell, using your email address and booking reference. I closed my eyes. I see. And what are your policies regarding unauthorized modification of bookings? The agent's tone changed, becoming more formal. Any unauthorized use of a cardholder's information would be considered fraudulent, Ms. Mitchell. Would you like to file a complaint? Would I? They were my family. But right now, looking at their smiling faces on social media, enjoying the luxury I'd paid for while deliberately excluding me, were they really? Yes, I said quietly. I would. Very well. As the cardholder, you have several options. I listened carefully as she outlined my choices. Then I made a decision that would change everything. I want to invoke the fraud protection clause. Understood. This will immediately terminate the current stay and block any future bookings. Would you like us to notify the current occupants? I thought of Emma's champagne toast, Mom's evasions, Dad's silence. No, I said, I'll handle that part. After hanging up, I sat at my desk, staring at the snow still falling outside. Then I opened our family chat and typed, "Hope everyone's enjoying Switzerland." Funny how the dates got changed without telling the person who paid $50,000 for it. But don't worry, I've just had a productive chat with the chalet management. You have 2 hours to pack. After that, your key cards will stop working and security will escort you out. Consider it my last gift to the family. Enjoy the snow. Then I turned off my phone, walked to my boss's office, and took the next week off. Sometimes the best revenge isn't making a scene. It's simply standing up for yourself and letting the consequences unfold naturally. The snow kept falling outside my window, but for the first time in years, I felt warm inside. The weight of being the family ATM, the reliable one, the one they could always count on to give and give while they took and took, was lifting. I opened my laptop and booked a single ticket to Switzerland. Not to Zermatt, to Grindelwald, where Dad's childhood home still stood. I had my own family history to explore, and this time I'd do it on my terms. The first message came through just as I was leaving the office. Emma, UUCANDTDUTHS, to US. I smiled and put my phone back in my pocket. Actually, I could, and I did. Sometimes the biggest gift you can give yourself is the power to say no to people who don't value your yes. Want to know what happened next? Let's just say 2 hours isn't much time to pack when you're in denial about consequences finally catching up to you. The chaos unfolded exactly as I expected. My phone exploded with messages, calls, and voicemails, a symphony of panic and disbelief. Emma, this isn't funny, Sarah. We have kids here. Tom, you've lost your mind. Mom, how could you embarrass us like this? Dad, silent, still. I watched through the chalet's security cameras, access courtesy of my booking account, as my family scrambled to pack. The live feed showed Emma throwing clothes into suitcases, Tom arguing with the manager, and Mom sitting shell-shocked on a luxury sofa that cost more than her monthly pension. At exactly 2 hours, the key cards deactivated. The manager, professionally stern, entered with security. I'm very sorry, but you must leave now. But we're paid until next week, Emma protested, her designer ski jacket half-zipped. Actually, the manager replied, the legitimate cardholder has reported unauthorized booking modifications. We take fraud very seriously. Fraud. Mom stood up, face pale. This is ridiculous. We're family. That's between you and Ms. Mitchell. For now, your transportation to the nearest hotel is waiting. I watched them file out into the snow, dragging their luggage, children whining, everyone looking significantly less glamorous than their Instagram posts. The nearest available hotel was a modest 3-star establishment in the village, quite a step down from their private luxury chalet. My phone rang again. This time, it was my Aunt Susan, always the family mediator. Sarah, honey, what's going on? Everyone's calling me crying. I took a deep breath. Did they tell you what they did? They said there was some confusion about dates. Confusion? I laughed bitterly. They deliberately changed my booking, used my information without permission, and excluded me from a family reunion I paid for. That's not confusion, Aunt Susan. That's fraud. Silence on the line. Then I didn't know you paid for it. Of course you didn't. It probably said Dad did, right? Or that it was a group effort? More silence. They told everyone I was too busy to come, didn't they? Emma said you were caught up with work. Her voice trailed off. Oh, Sarah. Yeah. Oh. But honey, making them leave like this is exactly what they deserve. I finished. Actions have consequences. After hanging up, I checked my email. The Chalet management had sent confirmation of the booking termination, along with an unexpected note. Dear Ms. Mitchell, we are deeply disturbed by this situation. As compensation for the unauthorized booking modification, we would like to offer you a complimentary stay in our property in Grindelwald next week. We value our guests' trust and security. Best regards, Alpine Luxury Resorts. I smiled. Grindelwald, exactly where I'd planned to go anyway. Sometimes karma works in mysterious ways. The next morning, my inbox contained several interesting items. A group email from Emma to the extended family. I was accidentally included. Sarah's had some sort of breakdown. She got us kicked out of our chalet. Had to spend the night in a horrible hotel. Kids are crying. Please talk some sense into her. A private message from my cousin Mark. Saw what happened. For what it's worth, I declined their invitation when I heard they changed the dates without telling you. Not cool, cuz. A notification from my bank. Suspicious activity detected on your card. Multiple attempted charges from Zermatt Elite Hotels declined. They tried to book new accommodation using my card details. Unbelievable. I was packing for my own Swiss adventure when Dad finally called. His voice sounded older, tired. Schatzley. Don't. I cut him off. Just don't. We should have told you. You should have done a lot of things, Dad. Like standing up for me when they planned this. Like remembering who actually made your 60th birthday dream possible. I did remember. That's why I couldn't enjoy it. Every time I looked at that mountain view, I saw the little girl who used to sit on my lap while I told stories about growing up here. I felt tears threatening. Then why didn't you say something? Because I'm a coward, he said simply. Because it was easier to go along than to fight with your mother and siblings. Because I've always counted on you being the strong one. Well, I'm still strong, Dad. Strong enough to say no more. I know, he sighed. That's why I'm at the train station. Is that offer to see your grandfather's house still open? I sat down, surprised. You're leaving them? They're all booking flights home anyway. Your mother hasn't spoken to me since last night. Says I should have stopped you. But she's wrong. I should have stopped them. I checked my watch. There's a train to Grindelwald in 2 hours. I'll send you the hotel details. Dank, Schatzley. After hanging up, I looked at myself in the mirror. The reliable daughter, the responsible sister, the family ATM. That person was gone. In her place stood someone stronger, someone who finally understood that real family doesn't exploit love. My phone buzzed with a text from Emma. Hope you're happy. You've ruined everything. I typed back, no, I just stopped letting you ruin me. Then I blocked her number, picked up my suitcase, and headed to the airport. I had a date with my father in Grindelwald, a chance to reconnect with my Swiss heritage, and most importantly, an opportunity to rewrite what family means, on my own terms. Sometimes the happiest endings start with saying goodbye to the people who never deserved your hello. The snow was falling in Boston as my Uber pulled away from my apartment, but for the first time in years, I wasn't thinking about anyone else's comfort or happiness. I was thinking about mine. And somewhere in Switzerland, a father was boarding a train, choosing his honest daughter over his comfortable lies. Sometimes that's all the family you need. Grindelwald welcomed us with fresh snow and clear skies. The Eiger Mountain loomed magnificent against a crystal blue backdrop as Dad and I stepped off the train. The complimentary chilate from Alpine Luxury Resorts was even more stunning than the photos, a perfect blend of traditional Swiss architecture and modern comfort. Just like I remember, Dad whispered, touching the wooden beams. Minus the luxury, of course. We were simple farmers back then. We settled in, and for the first time in years, I saw my father relax completely. No Mom demanding attention, no Emma creating drama, no Tom asking for money. Just us, the mountains, and generations of history to explore. That evening, as we sat by the fireplace, my phone lit up with a message from an unknown number, a video. I'd almost deleted it until I saw the preview. It was from the hotel in Zermatt, where the family had been forced to stay. Emma was at the front desk, waving my credit card information on her phone. This should work. It's my sister's card. Just try it again. The clerk, looking uncomfortable. Mom, this card has been reported for fraud. We cannot accept it. But we're family. She can't do this to us. I showed Dad the video. He shook his head sadly. Your sister never understood the difference between sharing and taking. Did you know? I asked quietly that she used my card last year to book her spa weekend? Told me it was a work expense she'd reimburse. Never did. Dad's face fell. How much? $3,800. That was just one time. There have been so many others. He stood up abruptly and walked to the window. I failed you, Schatzley. I taught you to be generous, but forgot to teach them to be grateful. The next morning brought more messages. Mom, we're at the airport. Had to buy new tickets home. Economy. Is this what you wanted? To humiliate your family? Cousin Lisa, everyone's saying you had a breakdown, but I get it. What they did was wrong. Tom's wife. The kids keep asking why Aunt Sarah was so mean. What should I tell them? I replied only to Tom's wife. Tell them that Aunt Sarah taught them an important lesson. Respect goes both ways. Dad and I spent the day exploring his childhood town. He showed me the farmhouse where he grew up, now renovated into a charming bed and breakfast. The owner, an elderly Swiss woman, recognized our family name. Mitchell? Ah, you mean Weber. Your father changed it when he moved to America, yes? Dad nodded. Wanted to fit in. Sometimes I wonder if that was the start of losing our way. We had lunch at a small cafe where Dad used to help as a boy. As we ate Rusty and raclette, he shared stories I'd never heard before about his parents, our heritage, and the values that seemed lost in our modern family dynamic. Your grandmother, he said, never had much money, but she taught me that wealth isn't what you have. It's how you share it, with respect, with gratitude. Like how Emma shares my credit card, I said dryly. He winced. I'm meeting with the bank tomorrow. Going to separate my accounts from your mother's. Time to stop enabling bad behavior. Just then, my phone buzzed with an email from Emma. Asterisk, Dear Sarah. Mom's furious, but I need to say this. I was wrong, not just about Switzerland, but about everything. I've been taking advantage of you for years because it was easy, because you never said no. The hotel clerk refusing my charges was the most humiliating moment of my life, but maybe I needed that. I had to use my own savings to get home, the first time I've paid for anything substantial in years. I'm not asking for forgiveness, just wanted you to know I understand why you did it. In my asterisk, I showed Dad the email. He read it thoughtfully. It's a start, he said, but understanding isn't enough without change. That evening, we received news from home. Mom had apparently gone to my apartment, demanding to be let in. The doorman, following my instructions, refused. She'd caused a scene, threatening to call the police. To report what? I told the doorman to ask. That your daughter won't let you use her money anymore? She'd left in tears, but not before announcing to anyone who would listen that I'd abandoned my family and lost my mind. Dad made a call. I could hear Mom's voice through the speaker, shrill and angry. Margaret, he said firmly, enough. Our daughter didn't abandon us. We betrayed her. And if you can't see that, maybe I need to rethink more than just our banking arrangements. After he hung up, we sat in silence, watching snow fall outside our chalet window. You know, Dad said finally, in Swiss German, we have a saying, Ehrlich hielt Wort am längsten. What does it mean? Honesty lasts the longest. He smiled sadly. Maybe it's time we all remembered that. The next day, we hiked to my grandfather's favorite spot, a small chapel overlooking the valley. Dad had scattered some of his ashes here years ago. He would have been proud of you, Dad said as we stood there. Not for the money or success, but for finally standing up for yourself. He always said our family's strength wasn't in our muscles, but in our backbone. My phone had been quiet for hours, the first peaceful stretch since the chalet incident. But as we headed back, messages started flowing again. Tom, just paid my own mortgage for the first time in 2 years. Guess I needed this wake-up call. Aunt Susan, your mother's telling everyone wild stories, but more people support you than you know. And surprisingly, a message from the chalet management in Zermatt. Ms. Mitchell, we've had several attempts by your family members to make bookings using your information. We've flagged all their details in our system. Your financial security is our priority. Dad read the messages over my shoulder and squeezed my hand. You know, Schatzley, sometimes the strongest love is the one that says no. As we walked back to our chalet, I felt lighter than I had in years. The Swiss Alps surrounded us, strong and unchanging, just like the truth we'd finally confronted. Sometimes family isn't about sharing everything. It's about respecting boundaries, acknowledging wrongs, and being brave enough to rebuild from the ground up. Dad and I had 3 more days in Grindelwald. 3 days to reconnect with our heritage, to plan our new future, and to understand that sometimes the smallest family unit can be the strongest. As for the others, well, they were learning their own lessons back home about responsibility, consequences, and the true meaning of family. And me. I was finally learning the most important lesson of all, that love without respect isn't love at all. It's just exploitation with a familiar face. 6 months after the Switzerland incident, I sat in my new downtown Boston penthouse, watching snow fall over the city. The view was different now, not just because of the location, but because I was different. The family dynamic had shifted dramatically. Mom eventually apologized, not in words but in actions. She'd gotten a part-time job to help with their expenses and hadn't asked me for money since Switzerland. Emma had started therapy, confronting her spending addiction and entitlement issues. Tom had taken financial management classes and was finally supporting his family independently. Dad? He'd moved out 3 months ago, not because he stopped loving Mom, but because he finally started loving himself enough to demand change. He now lived in a small apartment near my new place, teaching German part-time at a local college and rediscovering his Swiss roots. Schatzley, he said during our weekly dinner. Remember how you always asked why I left Switzerland? I nodded, pouring him some wine. I left because I thought America would give my family everything. But somewhere along the way, we forgot that everything isn't about money. It's about values. The biggest surprise came last week. A letter from the family lawyer. Dear Ms. Mitchell, your father has requested a modification to his will. The family home and the majority of assets will be transferred to you, with specific instructions that you have full discretion over any family financial decisions. I called Dad immediately. They'll be furious, I said. He chuckled. Let them be. You're the only one who ever treated my legacy with respect. The family group chat still existed, but it was different now. Instead of constant demands and drama, there were simple updates, shared memories, and occasionally, moments of genuine reflection. Emma, Sarah, found this photo of us as kids in Switzerland. Remember when you taught me to ski? Mom, made Dad's Swiss hot chocolate recipe today. Not quite the same without the Alps view. Tom, got a promotion. No loans or advances needed. Figured it out myself. I responded to these messages now, carefully and thoughtfully. Trust was rebuilding, slowly but surely. The Chalet incident had become family legend, a cautionary tale about taking advantage of kindness. During Thanksgiving, Aunt Susan's kids asked me to tell the story again. Tell us about how you shut down their luxury vacation, Aunt Sarah. Mom flinched but stayed quiet. Emma looked at her hands. Tom focused on his plate. Dad spoke up instead. It's not about the vacation. It's about respect, honesty, and treating family like family, not like an ATM. I kept the complimentary booking from Alpine Luxury Resorts. Every year, Dad and I would spend 2 weeks in Grindelwald, connecting with our heritage and strengthening our reformed relationship. This year, for the first time, the others were invited, under strict conditions. Everyone pays their own way. All bookings transparent and approved. No unauthorized changes. Respect boundaries or leave immediately. They all signed the contract, Emma with tears in her eyes, Mom with a shaky hand, Tom with newfound understanding. Yesterday, I received a package. Inside was a handmade album. Emma had collected photos of all the times I'd supported the family, celebrations I'd funded, emergencies I'd handled, dreams I'd helped realize. The last page held a single message. Thank you for teaching us the hardest lesson, that true love means respecting boundaries. We took you for granted. Never again. Looking out at the snowy Boston skyline, I smiled. The Switzerland incident hadn't destroyed our family, it had saved it. Sometimes you need to break something completely to rebuild it stronger. Dad called every Sunday now, his voice strong and clear. Ready for our Swiss adventure next month, Shaxley? Ready, Dad. This time with the whole family? Yes, he said confidently. But this time as equals, not as users and used. The snow kept falling, and somewhere in my heart, the little girl who always tried to buy her family's love finally understood. Real love doesn't need to be purchased. It just needs to be protected. And sometimes protecting it means being strong enough to say no, brave enough to demand respect, and wise enough to know that family, real family, is built on truth, not transactions.